All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new edition of It's Monday, Y'all, where we're premiering what we're going to call Couch Critics. So, a couple
Love it.
of clarifying points here. Of course, you have your usuals from the It's Monday, Y'all with Brad and Freddie, and then, Nolan, who sometimes has been, I guess, thought to be Big Daddy. But I'm here to, of course, again, deny those claims as not to be that person. But this is going to be a different segment. It's Monday, y'all, where we're going to talk about one movie per week and have some, of course, reviews on that particular movie. And then I'll come up with some reviews of the movies that I've seen over the past week in extension to that too as well. But yeah, Couch Critics, Brad, Freddie, how we feeling?
Great. Love it.
Yeah, I'm excited, really excited. We've been talking about this for a while. It's been in the works. I do want to make a note that you are kind of the movie picker at
Mhm.
this point right now. So you're kind of laying it on us.
Yeah. And for anybody who hasn't tuned in Monday Y'all podcast yet, which you should absolutely do that. Of course, one of the better ones that you can find. Upon that too, as well, it's been talked in episodes that I'm a frequent moviegoer. Last week I was there twice. This week I was there once. So we're going to be recording these episodes on Thursday, but they're going to release on a Friday. So then it gives you perfect time to really start your weekend with the movie that you should see, or based off of a recommendation, maybe that you shouldn't. And I guess you'll find out more about that. So, in addition to that, I think it's important, guys, to sort of set the stage too as well. Like we're not here to be those guys that are in suits that don't eat popcorn right at their movies where they're being overly critical about everything. I think that it's fair to say, although I probably watch more, that three of us are casual movie watchers and are just in it for the working man or woman. Is that fair to say, Freddie?
Yes. I'm glad you
Okay.
included the woman part. Brad
Yeah.
wouldn't
Hey,
have.
no,
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have. It's men only. And I'm glad you brought up the popcorn part too, because
yeah,
I don't think I've ever been to a movie theater and not gotten popcorn.
I did it for
Never.
probably the first time this week. First time,
You did it for the first time this week, no popcorn?
first time. You know what I
Just
did?
raw dog the movie.
You know what I
Raisinette.
did? Nope.
Brought your own.
I brought in a Ziploc bag of
Oh
pretzels.
my god.
Boss
You're
move.
you
Listen,
Boss move.
that's 70 years
a
old.
movie guy like me, you can't just continue to eat popcorn every week,
True.
right? Doing it a lot, making it happen. It was time to mix it up. All right. And the movie that I went and saw a little bit earlier, I kind of generally eat later lunches. So it was like a 5:30 movie. It wasn't ready for popcorn, probably like 10 to 15 pretzels, put me over. All right. This week we had The Long Walk. So based off of what we just talked about, I guess backstage, if you will, seems as if we're going to have two different opinions, or some different opinions about this movie as we go through it. So, Freddie, Brad, who would like to go first?
I'll
Let Freddie
go.
go. I'm very
I'll go.
curious.
All right.
Yeah. So the long walk. I enjoyed it. I watched it twice. So I watched it twice, once on a plane, and then I watched it again last week just to refresh. First of all, the concept is amazing, and I'm ready for it in real life. Like we're very close to fight to death type stuff. I think they're doing it in Thailand already. We're very close to a Running Man type thing. So anyone who has seen the movie understands what I'm talking about. I don't want to really, I guess, spoil it maybe, but it is what it is. No, like the concept is amazing. Like I'm all for it. So would I enter the lottery to try to get picked for it? Probably. I think we should have our own long walk, starting at the river walk and walking up Woodward. Like I think we should have our own and
Hey.
see who lasts, to get to the top and just keep it moving. Now, are we rating out of a 5? I think that's your scale.
Really important. Good clarification there. And I want to leave this up to the committee being, of course, the three of us. Now, for those of you out there, a very popular place where you probably should be getting insight on movies that are worth seeing or not seeing is, of course, through this podcast. But then in addition to that is the app Letterboxd. Okay. On Letterboxd, they rank the movies 1 out of 5. Okay. So anything in that dimension. So I've, of course, given these two crap before where it's like, hey, it's out of, but I'm comfortable with us going out of a 10 rating. I think that it's fair to say that that's more of a universal use of a rating. So I'm good with 1 out of 10 if you guys are.
1 out of 5 to me is just wild. Like I've never even heard. Matter of fact, you sent that to me, one rating of a movie, and I said,
Yeah.
who does that? So I downloaded the app. I'm going to use it while recording this podcast. So I'm comfortable at this point now that I can do a 1 out of 5 a 1 to
Okay.
5 rating.
Well, I could,
Yeah.
I could definitely, I could do either one. But yeah, in closing, I thought that the characters in the film were great. I think that was great. I think the concept was amazing, and I'm all for it to be implicated into today's society in any kind of way. Fight to death, play to death, walk to death, whatever you have to do. My my
Oh,
my rating on it in a scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to go 3.75. And I feel that that's fair because it's 75%. And I think 75% is a good like spot for this type of movie. I enjoyed it though. I really did. Will I watch it again? Probably not. But yes, I did enjoy it. And yeah, 3.75.
yeah. All right. I think that that's a fair rating too, but I think that it's crazy to hear that you watched this movie on an airplane. So I think that there's certain movies that you should watch on an airplane, certain movies that you shouldn't. There's obviously some things in this movie that can, maybe there's kids nearby, or I don't
Not
even
my
know.
case.
But this
Fred
seems to,
only sits not his kids, and Fred only sits at the front of the bus.
Oh, okay.
So it's, he
Wanna
makes
see.
his own rules.
And I smoke
Wanna
on the
see.
plane, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough. All right, cool. 3.7 out of 5. Pretty good high rating from Fred there. All right, Brad, let's hear it. I think you have a
Yeah,
different
okay.
perspective.
Been waiting for this one, right? And I actually put off watching the movie for quite some time after watching the review. I'm not a sci-fi guy now, so I'm excited to do this because my hopes is that you guys are going to broaden my horizons when it comes to movies. So I'm going to be open to watching everything and giving my full evaluation. I will start by saying this because I'm going to just kind of go off of Freddie's something. If we did this in real life, the three of us, you guys wouldn't stand a chance. I would totally win this. I actually meant to send you a text message. I have a 22 active day streak on my Peloton, and I was going to send it in the group to letting you know that I'm actually in training for the longest walk. I thought the movie was absolutely ridiculous. I thought it like I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. I can say this. I did like the camaraderie of the guys in there, but I'm such a nice guy and I always like to meet new people that I would just feel terrible on this walk knowing that I'm going to win and you guys are all going to die, So it did get very intense at one point, especially at the very end, because you're wondering how it was going to end. And the ending, not saying I was surprised by it. I kind of saw it coming a little bit at the end, of course, but a little bit of a ridiculous movie. But I will say that my favorite character on the movie was the Asian guy, Hank Olsen, played by Ben Wang. I thought he was hilarious. I thought he should have gotten more in there, especially when he's eating his gum and like putting it back in his pocket and his superstitions. I can see myself doing something like that. But my overall rating of this movie is a 1.5.
Nah, dude, come on.
That's
That's
bad.
crazy.
And let me just say this. I'm going to leave you with this, and we can talk about some other movies as well. The movie had completed, and my wife looks over to me and says, "I can't believe you made me watch that movie. You ruined my evening."
Oh my God. Sarah said
Wasn't a fan. I actually sent her the show notes instead of Freddie on accident, and she just writes back 0 stars.
Interesting.
that. Maybe next week
But
we'll watch The Devil Wears Prada. Maybe that'll be more up your alley.
Two.
I fucking love the idea. I'm more of a rom-com guy. I'm not going to lie. I'm a cop drama rom-com guy.
Pop drama rom-com guy. So The Rip. You want to watch The Rip. That's what you want to watch.
Rip was an amazing movie.
Yeah,
Loved
great.
it.
Yeah.
Loved
No,
it.
it was
Huge Affleck guy, by the way.
Me too. Where's he from, Brett?
Boston.
From Boston.
He is. Big Red Sox guy. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, 2 different reviews right out of the gate. I'm going to be sort of smack dab right in the middle. Okay. So
Okay.
I'm going to sort of reference Letterboxd here again. This segment doesn't have a sponsor yet, not because we haven't received requests, but because we're being very selective. So maybe, one day if we decide that it's necessary, Letterboxd will become one of our sponsors since we're mentioning them so much. No free ads. But so I originally rated this movie a 3 out of 5, right in the middle of the road. And I agree with both of you on certain points. Freddie, I think that the concept is unique, which makes it very cool to really start the movie and sort of and watch it for the first probably hour or so. But then I agree with Brad. I think that the movie gets pretty predictable and then it gets a little bit boring. When I watched this in theaters, I was sort of kind of just losing interest in it as it continued on. But I think that the performances were great. the ending was cool, sort of how that ends and kind of warms your heart up a
Mark
little bit.
Hamill.
But yeah,
How can you say warms your heart? I mean, like nothing warming my heart. Peter and Ray were friends.
exactly. But one of them has to
Yeah.
go. One of them has to go, Brad. You're losing the
Yeah.
point here in that they live in this reality, right? If us three had to do this tomorrow, then of course, like it would be traumatic. But in the movie, they talk about how submitting for this long walk has no longer become a choice, but something that everyone does.
Yeah,
Everyone does it, right?
that's true. That's
And
true.
they've submitted, and they're probably in the back of their mind hoping that they don't get selected. But if they do, they then put on a brave face for their family and their friends to have that confidence to say, I'm going to win this long walk, even though, I mean, some of them didn't stand a chance falling off within the first couple of hours, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen. But I assure you, from my viewpoint, every single person that was selected for that walk had the same confidence that you do today. They all think that they are going to win. And of course, like they become friends. And in this scenario, they did. But at the end of the day, there isn't two winners. It's just one. So that probably goes into my final point. So I draw a lot of similarities from this movie, certain instances, to people who really enjoy Squid
Yeah.
Games. If you liked Squid Games, there's going to be this movie is probably going to be up your alley, because if you enjoy people doing a life or death
Yes.
activity, this is again going to fit right into your liking of what Squid Games brings to the table. Of course, there's other elements to Squid Games that I think make it more appealing, like how there's different activities throughout the show. But if that's something that you enjoy watching, this is a movie that's going to be right up your alley. So Letterboxd has it at 3.5 out of 5. I have it at 3 out of 5. Brad, 1.5 out of 5, which I think is just an unfair rating. And then Freddie at a 3.75 out of 5, which is probably more to the average there.
So let
Any,
me ask you this. Let me
yeah.
ask you this question, and this is just getting used to the new Letterbox app because I
Sure.
want to continue to use it to track it.
Mhm.
Can you read the reviews? Because I don't feel like when you click on it, it just
Sure.
says 3.5. There's no actual written reviews. Am
Yeah,
I missing
so
something there?
I'm on the long walk here, as you can see. Sorry.
Yep.
And if I if I scroll down a little bit, there's going to be this gray reviews button that's right here. If I click on that, I can scroll and then I can see everybody's reviews.
Okay, I got to take a look again.
Again, really good app to use.
I do have one question for both of you. If you were to win the long walk, what would you want to happen? Like, you get endless witches, do you get endless wealth? What would you want to happen?
Ready?
I think I would become like the commissioner of more participate or die competitions. I think I would make more of those. Maybe the long run where you have to keep up maybe over a different mile per hour, as the walk was 3 miles per hour. Maybe you have to do 10 miles per hour. Any sort of participation for life event, I would be the commissioner of that. I would take all the information from around the world, and I would have these weekly. It wouldn't be a once a year thing. And I think it would be amazing for the viewers. And you don't have to.
Sure.
No one's getting forced to get into these competitions. You do not have to apply to the draft. So I think that, and I'm telling you, we're getting pretty close to this by maybe using prisoners, stuff like that, where Escape from New York type, Running Man, Squid Games, like something. They're already fighting to the death in Thailand somewhere. They're already doing it. Like, you can't convince me they're not doing that already. And they've been doing it since the 80s. So
Since the 80s.
Yeah. So, I mean,
know-
Bloodsport, all that stuff, that's true. That's real. So that's what I would do. That would be my wish. My wish would be to become a commissioner of this and get this out a little bit more for the fans.
Okay.
It does seem to be a very popular type of plot, right? Like you had Squid Games, you have The Long Walk, you had The Purge, right? There seems to be a lot of a popular plot along the lines of just scenarios where you're able to just either kill each other or people get killed, right? As a part of it. And The Running Man is another popular movie that has come out recently. And all of those, to my understanding, very popular, one at the box office and after, right? So that's interesting. But yeah, for me, I'd probably, I don't know, I'd probably buy a country or something. Like Turks and Caicos. I'd buy
No,
Turks
the
and Caicos.
Island of Nolan. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and then I'd stay away from Freddy's endless amounts of the long
But
run
you would
and
watch them.
everything else. Yeah, probably.
I would actually sponsor the events.
And that's what I mean. There's a lot of different avenues it can go into. I'm not just talking about the participants. There's sponsorships,
Yeah.
ads, viewership. There's a lot of money involved here. You know, let's not just worry about the people dying.
Yeah. So I would, well, let me clarify this. I would win out of us three in this long walk. I would not anything over 4 miles an hour. I'm out. So your long run, I don't think I would do well. It's not my thing. I'm more of a light walker, like a mall walker, they would say. It would maybe called with a brisk walk. The running, not so much. So I would probably enter your walk. I wouldn't enter your run. What my wish would be financial freedom, and I would purchase the Detroit Lions. I would buy the Detroit Lions, and I would turn the franchise into a Super Bowl winning franchise.
All things you could do.
Wow.
Yep.
He always finds a way to bring up the
That's
Lions, Freddie,
sad.
even on the movie
I mean,
segment. Finds
that's
up
sad that that's your one
Somebody
wish.
has to do it, and it's got to be me.
I mean, you have a
Yeah.
better chance in buying the franchise and moving them into the CFL. Like, you know, like
Moving on.
All right, fantastic. There's your review on The Long Walk. All right, again, listen, I know everybody loves Squid Games. This is a movie to check out. It's not one to write
Yeah.
home about. That's not what this movie is supposed to be. So if you're watching this and you're like Freddie, Brad, and Nolan said, we have to watch The Long Walk, we didn't say that. We said that it's a movie to consider, a movie to check out, and it's a middle of the road movie that's entertaining, but again, isn't going to blow your socks off. All right.
I
So-
would have loved to have watched it on a plane, to be honest with you. This would have been a good plane movie for me because I wouldn't have sat down and watched it, but I'm on the plane. Like I like the first move by Fred. I get it. But I also get Nolan's perspective. Like, I don't want some little kid just being like watching somebody get their head blown off.
Yeah, I'd be worried that I have a
I
concerned
will say
parent.
just one last tidbit that I'd like to add. When it comes to all of these Squid Game type things, and particularly the long walk, I don't make friends with people I'm competing with. That makes no sense to me. Helping the kid along with the broken ankle, sorry, buddy, see ya. Like, you know, like there is no friendships here. You shouldn't try to form friendships. Now, there's good gamesmanship. I mean, hey, buddy, your shoe's untied. I'm not going to help you tie it. Like, just keep it moving. Your ankle might be broken. It looks like it's bent. Like, I'm not going to help you, but, you know, it is what it is. There can only be one winner. So there wasn't like a finish line. The finish line didn't exist until one person was left. So the helping each other and come on, buddy, stay awake. Nope, go to sleep. Like, you know, like
I struggled with that too. Like, I really liked Peter's option of 2 winners.
yeah, and that could be one of your wishes.
Yeah, there you go.
Good point.
Camaraderie. I have a little bit of a differing perspective. So I agree that like making friends with your fellow contestants just makes it harder in the long run, no pun intended. But in order to, I mean, this is a brutal competition, right? It seems easy on paper, right? You just have to walk. But the longevity of the competition itself is where it gets brutal. And of course, what happens if you don't meet the requirements. But adding that sort of camaraderie as a part of it makes it easier to endure. I think that the brutal nature of how long it is as you continue through it. So, of course, it makes it hard, no doubt, when you can only have one winner. But in order to, I guess, push yourself to go farther, that type of encouragement from maybe your group, and as you saw within the movie, they sort of separate into groups, right? And sort of cliques, if you will, which again, I think helps them for the most part. So, you saw in that film, Freddie, the people that decided to be individualists didn't go very well.
No, don't. And that's the difference between a guy who lives on the East Coast and a Midwest guy. You know what I mean? Like, true definition, I think, is basically what Fred said. He's on his own. He's going to do it on his own.
Yep.
I'm going to bring my squad with me, and we're going to figure out a way to win this.
Yeah. He has no further comment. All right.
He's like, yep.
All right, great. All right, cool. Well, hey, there's The Long Walk, folks. Again, middle of the road movie.
All
Nothing to write home about, but a good, solid film. Brad's being a little bit too harsh. Nonetheless, anything else that you guys are watching? TV shows, movies, anything else? 1.2.
I just started watching The Last of Us, the series. So I finished Alien Earth, which is like the prequel to Aliens, the movie. I mean, it's a TV show. It I'm not into like aliens and stuff like that, but it was okay. I think The Last of Us, I just had started it, so I'm really early in it. I think it's pretty cool.
Cool. Brad, anything for you?
And I just wrapped up, and I've been talking about it on the podcast on Monday, and then I just finished, and can't wait for you, Fred, to get it on it. Finished up season 2 of Paradise. Amazing show. I absolutely love it. Nolan, you and I text too. DTF St. Louis, like just a wild show, man. I don't know. It's almost over, and I don't know where we're at. It's a weird show. And then the last but not least, I'm having a brain freeze on the name of the show, but it's right after DTF St. Louis on HBO. It is the Steve Carell show where he's in a college campus.
Rooster.
I don't know why. You know that? You guys know the name of it?
Rooster.
Yeah, Rooster. I really like Rooster a lot. I think that's a great show. Steve Carell's awesome in it. But yeah, that's what I'm watching.
I did finish
right now.
Shrinking this week.
Great show. Great show.
Amazing.
Great
All
show.
right.
All right.
Cool.
So what's up for next week, Nolan? What are we watching next?
So next week, we're going to watch The Gorge. So
Okay.
I'm going to start you guys off kind of slow. My goal here eventually is to get us worked into seeing movies that are coming out new, to where you guys are now having to go to the theater as well. That's my end goal. Don't know how long it's going to take us to get there. We'll see. But that's the goal eventually. So for right now, we're going to see The Gorge. This is a movie I have seen. I won't get into it any more than that. I think it's a good movie. I wouldn't recommend it if it wasn't, but I'm interested to see how you guys sort of break that down and see how your thoughts. But if you're at home and you're listening, you got 2 objectives this week. Watch The Long Walk. Let us know what you think. And then watch The Gorge, so then you can share your comments with us too. But yeah, Freddie, Brad, that's what I got for you guys this week is The Gorge. Miles Teller, which is an American favorite. Right? I think a global favorite movie. And then
Absolutely.
Anya Taylor-Joy, who is also fantastic in her own right too as well. Queen's Gambit and a lot of other things on
Great
top
movie.
of that too as well. So you have 2 co-stars, pretty solid movie.
All right. Looking forward to it. Hopefully I can watch it on the plane. I leave Saturday.
Yeah, where are you going again? Jackson, Mississippi?
False. Austin, Texas.
My bad. Jackson's in early May, right?
No, I don't know where you got that from.
Okay, hey, my bad. Not going to Mississippi. I don't know where I got that.
Going to Mississippi.
All right, cool. Well, Brad's not going to Mississippi. You watch The Long Walk, watch The Gorge. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Awesome. All right. All right, everybody. Hit like, subscribe. Next week, we're watching The Gorge, and I want you to check it out and give us some comments and let you know what you think. And maybe we might even bring on Cousin Doug next week. I'm thinking we might have to add him. I think he would be a good addition. He's a huge movie buff, just like Nolan is. So I think he would be a good asset to the team. Take care, boys. Have a great week.
Like and subscribe.
Thanks.